So today we're going to talk about YouTube and how insane and crazy and weird it was back when I was a kid, 2015, 2016, 2017. And no, I'm not even talking about that.
This is top 5 craziest things I've ever experienced in my life.
We're not even talking about that one, okay? We're not even talking about that one. And believe it or not, we're not even talking about this one. Nope, not even that one, okay? Here was the crazy thing. I was kind of thinking about this recently. I was doing a stream. Follow me on Twitch. And I forget, something about JoJo Siwa came up. And it made me think back to this time, 2016, 2017, 2018, when I was a kid, and pretty much all I did was watch YouTube, okay? And I actually started to deep a lot of the things, a lot of the content that was being made at the time. A lot of it was really weird and crazy, and I actually think it went over most of our heads, because at that time, YouTube, it was popular, but it wasn't that popular. It was mainly kids and teenagers. Now, there's something for everybody. A lot of adults watch YouTube, but I felt like back then, adults didn't really watch YouTube unless it was like a random how-to video. So they missed a lot of this weird shit that they probably would have been calling out themselves. The first thing I kind of want to touch on, is really one subject. It's reaction channels, right? Not reaction like kind of the thing I'm doing. I'm talking about these commentary channels. They used to call them commentary channels back in the day. And they were basically, they only existed to shit on people, right? That was kind of the only thing. And they don't really exist anymore. They don't really exist anymore. They're not popular anymore. They don't really upload anymore. Most of these guys who were really popular back in the day. And listen, criticizing things is fine. Obviously, I'm criticizing them right now. So obviously, I don't have an issue with criticizing people. The issue was more who they were criticizing, at what point they were criticizing them, okay? So, the first guy that you're gonna see is a guy named Will&E, okay? And Will&E, he was one of these commentary channels, and let's just see who he was criticizing and why.
Oh, lads, look at that muscle mass. Put it away, Jacob, lad. Put it away.
I've been looking under rocks and breaking locks.
What the fuck is this? Oh, hang on, that's what I do. Oh, fuck.
Just trying to find you. I've been like a maniac, insomniac. 5 steps behind you.
Where's he get his choreographer? It's just amazing.
Oh, it's a potato. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Keep doing it, my darling.
Okay, so
there you go. That's Will&E. That's one of the videos he made back in 2016, criticizing Musical.ly kids. Now I know what you're thinking. That's not that deep. It's not that. Maybe it's not that. It's not that bad. But think about it for a second, right? These kids that he was criticizing, and he did it to a lot of kids. I mean, most of the videos Will&E created were just talking shit about kids who were on the internet, right? That was most of his content, especially back then. I don't know now. I don't know what he does now. But back then, that was all the content, was just shitting on kids. And it doesn't seem that bad, he's making fun of his muscles and stuff. It's kind of stupid. But imagine you would I remember when I was this age, I used to make YouTube videos and stuff. I can't even imagine if one of these big YouTubers like these guys were talking shit about me. And he wasn't the only one. It wasn't just Will&E. There was lots of these people, and it was on any kid who had any sort of presence on the internet, right? Because obviously, if you're 12 and you make YouTube videos, you're going to be very cringy, right? When I used to do them, they were terrible. They were cringy, they were horrible. They're all gone. They're all very long gone. But the fact that it was every single kid, and that was these reaction guys, this was their lifeblood. Anytime a kid blew up, got a little bit of fame, these guys would slaughter them. And here's another one, and this one is a little bit nuanced, so I will give you the context after. But here's a different one. This is a guy named Memulus. These guys are friends, those two. This is him criticizing a guy named Dove, who again was about 12 at the time of all of this.
Maybe come up on your phone screen. But what did I get instead? Your mate putting his phone camera on a JPEG of the boss baby. I still can't fucking believe that video. It was so bad.
Rants on East cause his money's trash. He got no friends so no one wanna mash.
He got no friends so no one wanna mash. What does mash mean? Okay, I just searched it up on Urban Dictionary and the top definition is to ride a bicycle furiously through traffic without any disregard for cars, traffic lights, pedestrians, stop signs or the fucking man. And
so there you go. Once again, I mean, just another case of, you know, and Derv was a little bit different, okay, because Derv used to do this thing. I remember it was kind of like, they were sort of like, he never scammed anyone, right? He never extracted money. To me, a scam is if you extract money from someone and you don't give them, or, you know, you misrepresent what it is that they're getting. He never extracted any money from anyone, but he would do like fake giveaways, you know, he would like, you know, $50 Amazon gift card, and then he would never give it away, okay, to get some subscribers, again, as a 12-year-old, right, and this guy who, I think at the time was 19, Memulus, 20, which is my age now, was just shitting all over this kid for no reason. He made a bunch of videos about this kid, right, and I'm not saying Derv was the greatest, I mean, he was 12, I can't even imagine talking shit about a 12-year-old. That is so ridiculous that you would even think about talking shit about a 12-year-old. And these guys, there's quite a few of them. There's another one here that I'm going to show you. I'm Alex. I'm Alex has become a little bit unstuck himself. He made a career of, you know, just talking shit about people, and now he's it's gone a little bit interesting for Alex. Maybe that's a different video for a different day.
Cool as JoJo. Oh, hang on. What's that conveniently placed right next to me on my desk? JoJo's Guide to Making Your Own Fun? Well, that's really useful. I definitely want to give this a read because, after watching that, I'm depressed. Hello everyone, I'm Alex and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Jojo Siwa. You may be asking, who is Jojo Siwa? Now, if you haven't heard of this internationally famous internet sensation, Jojo Siwa was a dancer. If you couldn't tell.
That's aggressive! Oh!
And she is a well-known figure because she sold a bunch of bows.
There's I'm Alex, okay, talking shit about Jojo Siwa. I get now Jojo Siwa is quite funny to laugh at because she's an adult, but he even showed in that video she was 15 when he made this video, right? And this was a time when everyone was shitting on her for anything, right? And she was a 15-year-old, and all these YouTube channels used to make these videos back in the day talking shit about kids. I mean, I get that they weren't. At the time, I didn't see the issue with it because I was a kid and I was like, you know, they're older, and I never really saw an issue with it. But now I'm their age, it really hit me like how weird these things were. How I can see how this guy ended up getting in trouble. Let me put it like that. You know, you make a career off just shitting on kids and trying to destroy them. And I guess he didn't see it as such a big deal because she was so rich, because, you know, she had all these things that, you know, she did, you know, she sold things that made her rich, you know. So I get how he maybe thought there was a machine behind her or something, and maybe so he didn't think it was as bad. But it's still an insane thing to do, right? So that's another one. Now, of course, there is the other side to all of this, right? There is the other side. And the other side is these guys, they did sometimes call out people who definitely deserved it, right? For instance, there's a guy who I used to watch a lot called Jackmate. I still watch his podcast, Happy Hour Podcast, good podcast. Jackmate also made some very questionable videos, but he also called out some genuinely terrible people like this guy.
Be slamming into a teenager.
And everyone's a little bit sad tonight about that. Yeah. Who are we locking into the rank bank today, I hear you ask? Well, you already know, it's in the title. Touch the Light. A guy called Kami Stiletto, or something. Because unlike Jake Mitchell and Morgs, who I'd sum up as cringy but harmless, it's beans and burgers. I genuinely believe that Touch the Light is a problem. For example, Morgs does videos such as Best Fortnite Skins in Real Life Challenge, whereas Mr. Light, however, Mr. Light is out here clickbaiting suicide, sexualising 13-year-olds, and glorifying incest. This guy fully believes that he can title his videos however he wants, and as long as he doesn't actually do the horrible shit that the title implies, then he's off the hook. And weirdly, he seems to have quite a big fan base of, let's face it, kids. Kids who will support and defend him no matter what he does, and this is why this is an issue. And before we get into it, I actually want to start with a disclaimer. This guy, Kami, Touch the Light, he thrives off of videos like this. He is essentially the Katie fucking Hopkins of YouTube. People often call him out for the right reasons, and
so that's Jack, mate, talking about a guy named Touch the Light, or Kami Stiletto, right? This guy was terrible. This guy was genuinely terrible. You know, he did, as you can hear from, I'm not gonna go into too much about what he did. He did some really crazy shit, he did some terrible shit, and guys like Jack, mate, and these other guys would call him out, right? So it wasn't just piling on. There was some good stuff done by these guys. I'm not just saying it was all terrible. My overarching point about the whole thing, in terms of these reaction guys and how crazy they were back in the day, was more just to touch on how much they just loved to I can't use that word, belittling children, you know, punching down on kids to bring themselves up. The way these guys did that, it was like any time any of these kids ever did anything even slightly cringy or weird, these guys were straight on their cameras to talk shit about these kids. And I just kind of thought that was weird, and I thought it was something that no one ever really talked about at the time. No one ever said it was weird at the time. You know, it's been like 10 years now, so it's a long time ago. Most people probably don't even remember this stuff. I just used to consume a lot of this content when I was a kid, so I thought it was weird. I thought it was interesting to talk about that side of things. Yeah, that's it.